Thank you, Tshwane Band. Ladies and gentlemen, a tribute will now be rendered to the deceased members, the fallen heroes and heroines of the South African Police Service who died in the line of duty. Please take note that the last post will be played by the trumpeters. During this time, all members in uniform must salute in conjunction with members on parade during the playing of the last posts. Guests will also be requested to rise during the playing of the last post. The national flag will be lowered at half-mast. As soon as the last post is completed, during this time, the rally by the trumpeters to hoist the national flag, which the South African Police Service flag will also be hoisted. Guests are requested to remain standing during the time of the hoisting of the national flag. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Last post. A moment of silence. The reveille. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the guard of honor will now be marched off. You are requested to remain seated when the guard of honor marches off. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed with the wreath-laying ceremony. I now call upon the acting President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, to lay his wreath on behalf of the state. Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Acting President. I now call upon the Minister of Police, Mr. Nkosi Ntlego, to lay his wreath on behalf of the Department of Police. Mr. Minister. Thank you, Ms. Minister. I now call upon the Acting National Commissioner of the SAPS, Lieutenant General Khomotso Phahlane, to lay his wreath on behalf of the South African Police Service. General Phahlane. Thank you, General. I now call upon Major General Zulane, who will lay a wreath on behalf of the Chief of the South African National Defence Force, Major General. Thank you, Major General. Ladies and gentlemen, the family, other dignitaries, colleagues and friends of the deceased are now afforded the opportunity to lay their wreaths to honor the police employees who sacrificed their lives to protect the citizens of South Africa. Please approach the memorial through the red carpet. We request that for the sake of giving everyone the opportunity, you only lay your wreath and leave the memorial area. You will be afforded the opportunity to view the nameplates after the event. Flowers will be available at the memorial. Personnel of the South African Police Service Employee Health and Wellness, who are professionals from social work services, psychological services, spiritual services, and quality of work life, will be available to render support. The roll of honor will also be read with no sequence in particular order by Lieutenant Colonel Reverend Mexico. You are requested to remain seated during the reading of the roll of honor.
Warrant Officer Bower MJ, Sergeant Goodwin MACS, Warrant Officer Sluha BJ, Warrant Officer Nyandeni SS, Warrant Officer Kumkeren L. Warrant Officer Gumede BT. Constable Likala MM. Warrant Officer Reineke M. Warrant Officer Hlongo VH. Constable Mbuli HN. Sergeant Kize FS. Constable Mbele SH. Constable Jaga MW. Constable Majakaza ZW. Constable Baloi JT. Major Mietro MT. Warrant Officer Wane J. Constable Toya PM. Constable Warrant Officer Halls BJP. Constable Buthelezi NE. Constable Flabisa SAC. Constable Silwane LJ. Constable Mushari NN. Warrant Officer Musekwane BM. Constable Muswang EF. Sergeant Sowambi X. Warrant Officer Chizama S. Constable Maluleke BS. Sergeant Moyana VA. Warrant Officer Mabaza ZT. Constable Mukotedi JS. Sergeant Ralinala AS. Warrant Officer Ramsarup NS. Warrant Officer Mleche JZ. Constable Sesing MD. Warrant Officer Ramsakan A. And Constable Manyanga SN.
We request that all guests take their seats so that we can proceed. Ladies and gentlemen, the acting president of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, will now deliver the keynote address. Mr. President.
Please, you may be seated. Master of Ceremonies, Minister of Police, Mr. Nathi Nhleko, Deputy Minister of Police, Ms. Maggie Sochu, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police in our National Assembly, Mr. Francois Bierkman, MECs who are here with us today from various provinces, Acting Commissioner of Police, Lieutenant General Khomotso Phahlane, the South African Police Service Management, and all members of the police service, the leadership of Pop Crew and SAPU, the honored families of members of our deceased officers and police, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We are honored and humbled to participate in this, the South African Police Service Commemoration Day. It is indeed a day of remembrance. It is also a day of sorrow, but it is also a day of celebrating the commitment and the loyalty of the fallen members of the police service. But it is also a day on which we also honor and recognize the members of the South African Police Service. We mark this important day in September, which is not only South Africa's Heritage Month, but also Police Safety Month. In a nation that values human rights, respect and dignity, the murder of men and women in blue uniform, and indeed of any person, is an affront to everyone we value and hold dear. Together we must forge a humane nation in which we care for all and for one another. Together we must build a nation that values the sanctity of life and protects the most vulnerable. Together we must build a society that respects the rule of law and guarantees the safety of the police officers that are entrusted to protect all of us as South Africans. We must build a culture that values police, that sees them not merely as public servants, but as courageous men and women who have answered a high calling to protect every South African, and a high calling that puts them in a position where they are prepared to lay down their own lives in order to save the lives of us as South Africans. The death of one police officer is one death too many. It is thus heartbreaking to learn that during the last year, 72 members of the police service lost their lives, 40 of them in the line of service and in the line of fire. The youngest of these that we remember today is Constable Sabelo Nkunzi Manyanga. He was only 28 years of age when he was fatally shot 2 days before Christmas last year while on duty in KwaZulu-Natal. He had 3 children, and the youngest was only 1 month old. It is difficult to comprehend the depth of the loss that his death has caused, nor to understand the callous disregard for human life of those who pulled the trigger and thus ended his life. We learn of horrific deaths of long-serving, loyal police officers who are murdered by criminals for cell phones and firearms. Families are left to live with the enduring pain and trauma that visit all of us with the loss of a loved one. On behalf of the government and the people of the Republic of South Africa, we wish to extend our heartfelt condolences to the families of our fallen heroes and heroines. We pray that you heal and gain strength as you rebuild your shattered lives. May you all find comfort in the knowledge that millions of us as South Africans truly value your loved ones and the service that they rendered with distinction to the people of South Africa and to our nation as a whole. As the names of your loved ones are etched today on the monument, please know that your pain and your sacrifices remain etched in the hearts of all of us as South Africans. Their murder can never be justified in our country. We ask our nation to unite in saying that the murder of our police officers is unacceptable and it must end. We must not only condemn, we must also commit our communities to work with the entire justice system to ensure that those who commit these heinous crimes pay for their deplorable deeds. Those who join the police with a calling to serve and to protect are aware of the risks that they face, and we respect them for taking such monumental risks upon themselves, because they choose to confront these risks because they are committed to the cause of protecting others. When a police officer dies, we lose a beloved family member, a colleague, and a friend. We also lose a valuable, skilled, trained, and committed patriot who had taken the decision that they will demonstrate their love for their country by joining the police service and thus putting their own lives at risk. We support the leadership of the South African Police Service in their implementation of the police safety strategy. Members are continuously reminded to stay alert, to apply training, to remain in radio contact, to have the correct functional equipment, including bulletproof vests, and to call for backup whenever it becomes necessary in the execution of their difficult tasks. The Back to Basics campaign, launched by the South African Police Service Management, is positively contributing to the safety of police officers. We appreciate the insistence on the strict implementation of SAPS standing orders and national instructions. One aspect of police safety that we should not underestimate is the role of the community. We would never want community members to put their lives at risk or to usurp the responsibility of police members who are properly trained to execute the task of defending and protecting South Africans. But communities have a vital role to play. By participating in community policing forums, they can have a voice in local policing and become aware of crime trends and occurrences in their areas. They can mobilize all community members to be the eyes and the ears of the police, providing tip-offs on criminal activities. During this Police Safety Month, we pay tribute to the nearly 200,000 policemen and women who grew up with the dream of serving their communities by making sure that South Africans are safe and that they feel safe. Upon completing their training, they salute our national flag and take the oath on our Constitution as a demonstration of their commitment to a peaceful and secure South African nation. As police officers, your career is dedicated towards placing the needs and the interests of other people before your own. Your service and sacrifice helps to build our nation. It helps to ensure that there is social cohesion in our country, and it helps to bind us all together as a people and as a nation. You keep our ports of entry and national key points safe. You bring security, dignity, and order to the many national and international events that we host in our country. And these tasks you execute with great distinction as well as with great dignity. We applaud you for that. It is you who work as guardians of our constitutional order by ensuring that South Africans exercise their right to vote in an environment which is free of fear, intimidation, or violence. We observed your work during the local government elections and were in awe in the manner that you executed your task. You are the guardians of our democracy. As first responders, you often place yourself in the line of fire at crime scenes, thus putting your own life on the line. You are often called upon to bring calm and common sense in situations where ordinary citizens fail to reason with one another. And you are exposed to the flaws of our social fabric that lead to traumatic scenes of domestic violence, sexual and emotional abuse of children, and the horrors of gang violence. As these things happen, you are often there or you are called upon to come and assist. Your task is a difficult task. It is an unenviable task, and it is for this reason that we honor you for taking on some of the most difficult challenges that our nation faces. While most of us take a night of rest for granted, thousands of South African Police Service members at our 1,142 police stations around the country remain at their posts, alert, vigilant, and always ready to act. You continue to improve the way you render services, ensuring that through innovations like mobile police stations, you reach the most remote and under-resourced areas of our land. Through your presence, through your work, you cover our land right across. Today, we pay tribute to the detectives who tirelessly pursue suspects who may be on the run and meticulously put together the forensic details of complex crimes. We pay tribute to specialists who detect and prosecute organized crime and economic offenses that inflict great damage on our society and our economy. We pay tribute to mortuary staff, information and communications technology specialists, stock theft units, post-traumatic stress counselors, railway police teams, dog handlers, flight crews, and many other teams that make up our police service. To you, we say thank you. Thank you for braving the cold and the enduring heat of our country. Thank you for comforting us when we need it. Thank you for reuniting us with lost family as well as lost property. Thank you for putting criminals behind bars and keeping our streets safe. Thank you for opening the imagination of young South Africans to exciting careers in the police service. Thank you for thinking of us before thinking of yourself. We pay tribute in this way because you come from our families, you are part of us. You come from our homes, our churches, our football clubs, our stokvels, our jazz clubs, and our community policing forums. That is where you originate from. You are part of us. You are our community. You are our mothers, you are our fathers, sons and daughters, husbands, wives, friends, and neighbors. Beneath your uniform and your defensive gear, you are flesh and blood, ordinary people assuming extraordinary duties in often extraordinary circumstances. We therefore treasure you, your service, and we treasure your lives. We thank you. My last word is to the families of those members we have come to honor today, and to say, through this ceremony, we hope that your wounds will heal and your pain will also subside. This is a demonstration of South Africans, of care towards you, as well as of memory. Your family members, our police service members, shall never be forgotten. Their names will remain etched on this memorial stone forever and forever, because they have paid very dearly with their lives. May their souls continue to rest in peace, and may you find peace in your own lives. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming here. Siyabonga.
Rise. Thank you, Mr. Acting President. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Acting National Commissioner of the South African Police Service, Lieutenant General Khomotso Phahlane, will now deliver the vote of thanks. General.
Program Director, thank you very much for the opportunity granted for me to do the vote of thanks. the Acting President of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, the Honorable Minister of Police, Mr. Natin Hleko, the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Honorable Mr. Mike Masuta, the Deputy Minister of Police, Honorable Ms. Makgotso Sochu in absentia, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Police, Honorable Mr. Francois Biekman, MEC of Police, Roads and Transport in the Free State Province, Mr. Butana Kompela, the MEC for Safety and Safety in Northwest, Dr. Mhlabani, members of the Portfolio Committee of Police present, all members of the National Parliament, provincial legislatures, local government and councillors in attendance, Deputy National Commissioners, Divisional Commissioners, Regional Commissioners and Provincial Commissioners in attendance, senior officers and officers of the South African Police Service and the officers of South African National Defence Force present, retired senior officers, all members of the South African Police Service, all Director Generals and heads of government departments and their representatives, the President of POP Crew and the President of SAPU, including their representatives, the Chairperson of the Community Policing Forums, representatives of business, the church, and traditional leaders present, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for honoring us through your attendance of today's commemoration service as an incredible sign of paying respect to our men and women who lost their lives in the fight against crime. In remembering those sons and daughters of our soil who departed, I associate myself with the poem by Anthony Divani, a serving soldier within 3 Yorks, having just returned from a third tour of Afghanistan, who had lost 10 brothers and sat at home and started writing. And I quote, "We are indeed the lucky and unlucky ones, as we are the ones who have lived to tell the tales of those we once knew. We are the ones who carry those scars of things seen, done, and lost. We are the ones who must never let those who are not here to be forgotten by the new. We are the ones who will never need to be reminded that we will remember them. And we are the ones who will always remember those we forever called a friend." Ladies and gentlemen, after ending the 2015-2016 financial year, a year marked with achievements such as the festive season operations and the establishment of management interventions to address the service delivery challenges at station level. We entered 2016-17 financial year with positive expectations for our country as a whole and the South African Police Service in particular, and we delivered a safe and secure local government elections to the people of South Africa. This commemoration day comes 2 days following the presentation of the National Crime Statistics, which depicts a decrease in the incidence of crime in the country, except in the stubborn area of contact crimes. The names of those engraved today contributed and sacrificed their lives for the realization of a safe and secure environment for all people in South Africa. May their souls rest in peace. The key strategic areas on which the South African Police Service is currently focusing on in support of government prescribed and the strategies to achieve these policies contributed substantially to our recent successes against our efforts to improve a safe and secure environment for all. I want to use this opportunity on behalf of top management of the South African Police Service to express my sincere thanks to all members of the South African Police Service who have contributed to the many successes we have achieved thus far. Your efforts have been rewarded as we have experienced a steady decline in many categories of crime, as well as in a trend which is one of our biggest concerns, the murder of police officials. We are in pursuit of a dream where women and children will one day walk freely in the streets of our country without fear. We must remain focused and continue to make a reality the constitutional policing obligation to combat and investigate crime, to maintain public order, to protect and secure our inhabitants and their property, and to uphold and enforce the law. Honorable President, what does it mean to be a member of the South African Police Service? We have enlisted our services as members of the service by entering the exciting world of policing, where we need to take cognizance that it is always going to be very tough. You continue to be faced with many challenges in our careers, while your personal life and relationships are going to be challenged regularly. Moral and ethical issues will confront. Because of the nature of police work, it is inevitable that you will experience traumatic situations as members of the service. One such reality is the ultimate price we pay, thus our gathering here today. We accept the fact that there will be times in our lives where we will need support and counseling. The South African Police Service remains a caring organization that values its employees. We therefore call upon members of the service not to hesitate to use the services at their disposal, including the employee health and wellness systems, such as those provided by social workers, psychologists, and the chaplains. They are there to support them. We view policing as a calling and not just as ordinary employment. Members of the South African Police Service must be sensitive to the community's needs and expectations. They must contribute to the institutionalization of Batupeli by putting people first. One of the most important tests to determine a member's suitability as a police official is a member's ability to abide by the code of conduct of the South African Police Service. and the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. We must resist the many temptations that confront us on a daily basis. Base the execution of our policing discretion and decisions on sound police ethics and organizational value that we will have internalized as our own. Cultivate respect for the law. Let your behavior always serve as an example for the community you serve. Do not cave in to the many temptations that will constitute corruption or unethical behavior. We remain bound to our oath in the execution of our policing mandate. The South African Police Service will not tolerate behavior that is unbecoming of any police official. With this commemoration service in mind, I want to assure the public of South Africa that the South African Police Service is committed to building a capable police service with the capacity to transform its services as dictated by the demands of our constitutional democracy. We are deeply honored and thank the acting President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, for having graced us with his attendance and the delivery of a keynote address. We appreciate your support, sir. Your presence is indicative of the support and strategic direction provided by the presidency, the government, and indeed the people of South Africa are appreciative of the efforts of our police members and deplore the fact that they die in the act of serving and protecting. Let me express my appreciation for the guidance, leadership, and direction provided by the Minister of Police and the Deputy Minister of Police to the entire service. Your presence and continued support is appreciated. All ministers and deputy ministers in attendance, your presence is highly appreciated. We are appreciative of the presence of the MEC for Police, Roads and Transport for the Free State, MEC of Safety Northwest, and the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police, including the Portfolio Committee members, members of Parliament present here, as well as the presidency of the Labor Union, Pop Crew and SAPU and their representative. Thank you for gracing our occasion. The Director Generals and heads of departments, we are indebted with your support. We also acknowledge the families, colleagues, and friends of the heroes and heroines who died in the line of duty. May you find solace in this dignified service, surrounded by your extended members, family members, and engulfed in our love. We too miss and mourn your loved ones, and we stand by your side to honor and remember them. Acting President, those of us who serve today, we serve in an organization with a proud history and tradition. In the face of grave challenges and obstacles from both criminals and subversive forces, we remain the fundamental principle of providing a policing service drawn from the community and service to the community. Hence our back to basic approach, and we will continue to do the right things right against all odds. In conclusion, Acting President, in paying our final tribute to the members as reflected on the roll of honor for the 2015-16 financial year, I want to draw on the words of Vivian Envy Cross, inscribed on the United States National Police Memorial in Washington, D.C., which made an important impact on me. She herself was a widow of a Capitol Police officer who was killed on duty. The dedication reads, "It is not how these officers died that made them heroes. It is how they lived." Finally, all the lieutenant generals, senior officers, members of the South African Police at large, we will win the fight against crime. Your valuable contribution is much appreciated. Each and every one of you here in attendance and those of us who could not make it here, contribution is greatly appreciated. To the team that organized this event, we are indebted with the excellent work that you have put together. Together with the band and the members of the choir who continue to entertain us, and those that went to an extent of making the refreshments available, we are greatly appreciative. May God bless you all. I thank you.
Thank you, General. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem will now be played by the SAPS Band. The SAPS Head Office Choir will lead us in song. All members in uniform must salute during the playing of the national anthem, and guests will be requested to rise. Ladies and gentlemen, the salute flight in the form of a fly past by the South African Police Service Air Wing will be observed in recognizing and honoring the fallen heroes and heroines. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem and the fly past. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the end of the program. You are kindly requested to rise for the departure of the acting president, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, and his entourage. Please rise, ladies and gentlemen. All dignitaries, family, friends, and guests are invited for a sit-down lunch in the Maki tent behind the memorial. Thank you for your attendance, and may God, your ancestors, and angels guide you safely back home. If you have any inquiries regarding pension or any other, please engage the police officials at the gazebos on the left. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes our proceedings.